Well, in terms of, being raped as a child, I didn't tell anybody until I was 16 years old. And when I did tell my father when I was 21, he laughed and he said, oh, he must have put it in a little bit, not very much. So I lost it. That's not the kind of response you give to your daughter who tells you that she was raped, because I'm nuts, crazy. There is no sense of human rights in India for the most part. They have no idea how to treat someone as a human being. So it's been, I wouldn't say there was support in that way because I never sought it. And when I did seek it, I got absolutely absurd answers, which I had the sense to reject. But going to the US, I learned somatic therapy and went through an intensive course for an entire year. That allowed me to get past the trauma, and now I help other people who've been, survivors of child sexual abuse or rape, or even people who are active criminals to move past their trauma. I work with parents of special needs children. I work with people with abandonment issues, with anyone who's been through excessive trauma. So I help them move past that and be able to live sane lives, because otherwise you just walk around asking yourself, am I crazy because I feel crazy? So I work with people who feel crazy. Right. So I believed it was my fault. All children believe it's their fault. Like, even if parents divorce, children believe it's their fault, right? Because the world just goes around the child. So it wasn't until I was like 35 years old that a friend of mine, Sahira, finally convinced me that it wasn't my fault. She said, my children are, very sexual beings, and they would love for me to engage with them sexually, but whose responsibility is it? Like, for instance, right now, if a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old or 15-year-old came up to you and said, I want to have sex with you, whose responsibility is it to say no? The child's or yours? And I'm like, it's 100% my responsibility. And she said, exactly. It was 100% responsibility of this guy not to put a child in harm's way, and not in the way of his sexual desire, certainly. So there is a lot of accountability that I work with. But absolutely, even if you liked it, it's not your fault. There is a reason why in the United States, below the age of 18 or 16, 18, if you have sex, voluntary sex, it's called statutory rape. That means that even though you gave your consent, the law believes that you are not mature enough to be able to give consent. So even if you liked it, even if you said yes, you do not have the capability of saying no. You have no idea what this is going to cause and what damage it's going to cause, because it seems very seductive. He might give you a toffee or a chocolate or whatever it is. It is absolutely not your fault. If you feel that in your body, that it's your fault, contact me and I will fix that. It is absolutely not your fault, not ever.